crypto is dipping. Bitcoin is under 40,000. I'm looking at the chart. We're actually under 39,000. And I have some crazy news to share. So let's get going. Hey and welcome to today's video. My name is Julian. On my channel, it's all about making your crypto fit. At least it's always been. Let's see if going forward it's gonna stay the same. Crypto has been going crazy. We have seen a Bitcoin dip by 40%. All the portfolios have been down. I have been warning over the past 6 weeks that markets might dip, and I have some crazy news to share. So before we do this though, I have a small presentation that I would love to share, and let's walk this through. Maybe while you are getting in, let me know what you think. Do you think crypto is going further down? So further down is a 1. Comment 1 or type down. Or do you think crypto is actually going back up again? Then write a 2. So 1 is down, 2 is up. Let me know. At the same time, let's kind of look a bit into the data, and then let me give you some ideas here. Alan here writes 1, 77 writes 2, RR 2 sideways. Okay, interesting one. 2, okay, actually a lot of optimism. Cool. Okay. I mean, the entire thing here, especially over the weekend, started a bit more positive. First, Elon said he is, he's not sure if he's selling, and then obviously the market went down 10%. But then he was like, no, you know what, to clarify speculation, Bitcoin, we're not probably selling any Bitcoins, or we haven't sold any. And then the market kind of, went back up again. Then there was this weird petition about Elon should be selling his Bitcoin. To be honest, I think this is really, really weird. Why would a libertarian community that Bitcoiners call themselves ask anyone to sell Bitcoin? I mean, to me, that's absolutely weird. But anyways, and then suddenly we're waking up to this Wednesday, 19th, and this is basically the entire day, and it's just been trending down, and we're now actually under $39,000. And to kind of put this maybe a bit into perspective, let me zoom in here. So we've been here 65,000. Now we're under 39. So this is a 40% drop from the top. 40 freaking percent. And obviously that's really starting to scare a couple of people. And you can see this. Looking at emotions here, we are in deep fear. And this is from this morning. So tomorrow, I actually expect this thing to go probably maybe even to the lower teens, if not into the singles. That would be just absolutely insane. But could definitely be the case. And looking a bit at the history here, so we have been here in the lower teens. If you look back here over the last, 3 years, pretty much 2 times here, beginning of 2018, when the last crash was, we were also in the singles. Otherwise, it was maximum lower teens. And obviously the last time here was the last COVID dip. Then here 2019. Then obviously beginning of 2018 when we had this last crash. And so obviously a lot of people super scared. They don't know what's happening. And maybe an interesting one here. This is the Elon candle here. So this was when Tesla announced that they were going into Bitcoin. We're now exactly at this candle. So keep this a bit in mind, right? Elon announces that Tesla stops accepting Bitcoin. Markets go down here from like mid 50s all the way down to like upper 40s. And now we've seen this next sell-off here. Pretty much the entire hype cycle here got wiped out from the Tesla candle. And just keep this in mind, right? I want to present data and I want to present opinion. And the reason I want to do it is because when you make an investment decision, whether it is selling, buying, or hodling, you should do this always based on data. You should never do this based on my opinion, someone else's opinion. Opinions are opinions. And always understand, opinions are always, most humans have self-serving opinions. And with most, I'm talking about 99.9%. So just keep this in mind, right? And I think this is an absolute no-brainer. So try to distill the data from the opinion here. So obviously, we are back to where we were about 3 months ago, a bit longer, now around 3 months ago, mid-February to mid-May, so about 3 months ago, when Tesla announced that they were going to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So we're back to that. So we're back to an area right now, and just keep this kind of in mind, where buying and selling has happened 3 months ago without this information about Tesla. So all the way to where we are right now, there shouldn't be anyone here who would have ever bought Bitcoin. Maybe they did up here, but whoever bought Bitcoin with the knowledge or with the hope that Tesla would be holding Bitcoin or that Elon would be positive on Bitcoin, right? So just kind of keep this in mind a bit. I think this is really, really relevant in the entire decision-making process. So where's all this sell-off coming from here in the past couple of hours and obviously the last days? And that is some FUD from a China ban that, is actually really old news. It's just that China is reiterating that it's not positive towards crypto, and there's nothing new about it. It's just the market makes it new again, and the media likes making it new. And I hear people who call this like a conspiracy. Again, this is pure opinion. I don't think this is a conspiracy. This is just small little puzzle pieces kind of doing some self-serving. China just wants to reiterate that. The press loves to jump on top of that. Why? Because all this kind of stuff sells really well. And obviously, this is always great news. And the media doesn't care about anything else other than clicks, right? So this is kind of how these things spread. And on top of that, right, I believe at the moment we see actually Tammy here writes this, a risk-off tone. Not so much a risk-off tone. I think it's more of a change from investments to lifestyle credits. The US is opening up. Europe is planning on opening up. A lot of COVID story. If you remember that video that I made, what could actually start a Bitcoin bear market is actually the opening up. And we do see some of that here, right? So I just want to make this very, very clear. And just kind of keep this in mind here. 2017, we have seen this before, right? So here we're going from 3,000 to under 2,000. So that's about the same kind of drop. That was the same kind of 40%. And that was in 2017. Most people forget that because, first of all, they weren't part of the market back then. I was actually part of the market. I still remember that really well. And people were like, okay, that's it. Whoop, and we go down. And obviously, you know the rest where we went from like 2,000 to 20,000 in 4 months after that, right? So just kind of keep this in mind. It's the same kind of story here, the same kind of China FUD. Here, we're actually just reiterating the entire thing. So I just want to keep this in mind. Also, obviously, very interesting, looking at the Bitcoin dominance, looking at the entire thing here. We dropped down to actually under 50%. I made a Facebook post here, May 16th, 2017. Right? I don't know. Like, it's always interesting, right? How certain things kind of, happen and recycle. Now, here is some interesting data. And this is all from Coinmetrics. You can get all this data from there. Not much of old Bitcoins that have been hodling for over a year have actually moved, right? Haven't. Bitcoin days destroyed, very, very young. So there's not much old Bitcoin that actually gets sold, which makes a lot of sense. Keep this in mind here, right? It makes sense that who's selling right now? Well, either the old hodlers or people for whom the facts have changed. And what the facts were here is, well, before Elon was super positive, so since I'm a big Elon fan, I'm a big Elon follower, be it an individual, being a fund, being a larger kind of institutional kind of investor, but now Elon is kind of more pessimistic. Okay, I'm also going to become more pessimistic. But by definition, the people from before, they shouldn't be changing their mind because they invested without this knowledge, right? So just kind of keep this in mind here. Also, very curious. not much liquidations on such a significant drop. So that means a lot of the selling is actually not much from the derivatives markets. It's actually coming from spot markets. And that's also interesting because that kind of supports the data here. And now let's be very interesting. As a whole, the inflows into the markets have been extremely strong, especially over the last 1 or 2 weeks. And I remember when Bitcoin dropped to the 50s, people were like, yeah, I'm going to buy the dip now. And I was like, people, be super careful. I don't think the dip is over yet. We've seen significant inflows. There have been net inflows all the time now in May. And, but they're actually very split. Coinbase has actually seen major outflows. So that's interesting, right? The US sees a lot of inflows right now. On the other side, Binance seen a lot of outflows. So that's just super interesting as a whole in how the market dynamics are. Yeah, so obviously the question is, what does all this mean, right? Where are we gonna go from here? And look, a lot of the YouTubers in the past, over the last 4 months, right, they always told you where the market was gonna go and they told you all the trades. Come on, everyone is a genius in a bull market, right? Everyone is a genius when it's very easy. But as soon as this stuff comes, suddenly all these people disappear. Suddenly no one has an opinion anymore. And it's normal, right? It's totally normal. Let's look at some of the data here. We're actually seeing quite a negative quarter so far, right? So from all the quarters we have ever seen, one of the most negative quarters was Q1 2018, and that was minus 50%. All the other quarters here, minus 40, that's kind of the limit here, right? To just kind of make this relatively clear. And then when you look here, obviously you can add those together. So that was 2014. That was the time that I started. That was brutal, right? So we've seen minus 40, minus 17, minus 24, and then everyone thought Bitcoin was dead. Here we basically went to minus 58% if you add those together. Then we had a positive quarter. Then we died again. Yeah, it's not always possible to add them. I hope you understand that, right? So you cannot, I'm like just kind of calculating here a little bit. But then keep in mind the following. We've had 2 really solid quarters here of 100% plus. And so the last time this really happened was never, right? So we have never had 2 quarters in a row with 100% plus. So keep this a bit in mind. And that's why you see these pictures where someone is like sitting on the water with their heads just up and they're like calling it minus 10%, but on the bottom they're like plus 500%. And I just want to keep this in mind here a bit. Over the last year, like so many people are up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12x in the majority of the coins. Some even 30, 40x, right? So in some of my positions, I mean, DeFi chain, I'm up, what, 30x from the very start. Ethereum's up super a lot over the last year. Bitcoin is up super a lot. So just don't forget that. And yeah, whenever we look at other data, one of the premises that I always live in is that stuff doesn't repeat necessarily, but it kind of rhymes. So I can learn from the history and I can kind of use that to go forward. And so when I look at that, to me, there's not much further room down in the entire quarter. It might go further down, but that would be historic. I mean, what? We might have 7, 8% further down. That's kind of it as a historic reference. Now, of course, you will always be that person who says, yeah, but this time it's going to be different. Maybe, but probably not. It's just very unlikely. Additionally, when you look at those kind of cycles, always the tops to bottoms, right? Most of those cycles, they are actually 40% is kind of always the cap here. And especially when you go back in 2017, we've seen regular kind of setbacks from the top that were 40%. And from a timeline perspective, they were also obviously very similar as a whole. So I just want you to keep this in mind. Our RSA, Relative Strength Index, just crossed into the complete bullish scenario, right? These are just all things that, again, no one can predict the future. Network value to transactions. Willy Woo had this fantastic analysis here. He shared this on Twitter. Whenever there was this bullish kind of crossover, this was an exception here, but it also kind of went up. But like, look at always those predictions, right? So it's always just been super, super, super strong. Comparing what we have right now with past kind of cycles, right? The black one is this one. The blue one was the first cycle, second, third one. We're like right in the middle. This is kind of the average up and down stock to flow modeling. And like we're right in there, right? So we're obviously a bit off, but we're right in there. And now comes another one, Maya multiple, which is the comparison of the price to the 200-day average. We are literally at the 200-day average. And just by statistics, and again, I love math, I love statistics. In 2/3 of the time, the price would be over that in a historical perspective. So what I just want to explain here is I totally understand why Michael Saylor announced another purchase at the $43,000 kind of price mark, right? And so I get it. You sit here and this was your portfolio in February. That was it in March, and that's it right now probably. And so you're wondering, right? Why am I doing all this? And what am I doing? And what did I have to do? I actually hadn't planned on doing anything. I had just planned on hodling. But that last move from like the 40s into the higher 30s, to me, that was completely irrational. That is completely over the top. It was based on wrong information. It's completely emotional. And so to me, I actually had to. That just drives me, right? I had to turn dollars into crypto. I had to turn dollars into Bitcoin. I had to turn it into Ethereum. I had to turn it into DeFi. And there's no other way for me to do this. And the key thing here is, I remember when there was the same feeling a year ago when this was in March and Bitcoin dipped to like $4,000. It was exactly the same feeling. Everyone was like crazy pessimistic and crazy scared. I looked at the data and I said, yeah, you know what? I mean, it may go down to 3,000. Who knows? But I am very, very confident that over the next year or the next 2 years, I'm going to see higher returns on that dollar that I would get anywhere else with a similar kind of risk. And so then I had to. And it's the same kind of feeling right now. And again, I cannot tell you what you have to do. And to be honest, I don't really care because these are your dollars. These are my dollars. And I'm just giving you the data and I'm going to give you the facts. And at the end, that's what you have to base your decisions on. And that is just a super, super key concept in all of that. So I bought the fucking dip. I am very confident that over the next year, I'm going to be able to get more than 20% on those dollars. Getting more than 20% of those dollars means I can sell at around, let's say, $50,000. And that's fantastic to me. And I may sell those at $50,000. I may sell those just for those 20%, and I put them back into dollars and put this amount out and let the other 20% run, because I see this more like a super irrational move. Again, maybe we're gonna see lower prices and maybe we're gonna dip to the mid 30s and lower 30s. I don't care, to be honest. To me, these right now are super irrational, overly emotional actions, and I want to capitalize on them. And I think the data to me shows what's needed, and to me the data just shows that people are overly pessimistic. So that is a bit of my idea here. Let me know what you think of all of that. Let me know if I'm crazy. Let me know if you agree. And obviously I hope for anyone that hodls and or buys more, that you're gonna make shitloads of money. I hope that anyone who sold, that wherever you're putting your money, that you're gonna make shitloads of money. But this is a bit of my thinking and ideas here. So with this, all the best. Thanks so much. If you like this stuff, if you like staying in crypto, then follow, subscribe, click the like button, and then I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.